Welcome to Co-Evolutionary Culturing, composting power over culture from the inside out. The podcast from Starter Culture, which seeks to be not only a conversation that you listen to, but a participatory experience of consciousness shifting, of actively decolonizing and composting the overculture within our own bodies, hearts, minds, and giving impulses and ideas and invitations to go out into the wild world, as well as practices, rituals, explorations, both in the inner world and the outer world, that will help you to experience your belonging as part of Earth community, not as a belief or an idea, but as a lived experience, a lived somatic emotional experience. So halfway through the podcast, we actually go on a kind of a journey, inner journey with you through the four windows of knowing and expanding our awareness in the inner world into the outer world, to weave ourselves into the ecosystem within which we live and Earth community. Bella Salke Lovelock and myself, Sarah McFarland, in conversation and offering you a journey of eco-awakening or eco-belonging today on Co-Evolutionary Culturing, composting the power over culture from the inside out. Welcome. It's wonderful to be sitting here with you.
Yeah,
for part 2 of our Eco Awakening, How to Eco Awaken podcast.
How to Eco Awaken. Yeah. This word seems to be, or this phrase or term seems to be stalking me at the moment. It's kind of, when your brain links onto or latches onto a thing, and then it's kind of, I see it everywhere. And I feel it everywhere. And I'm, I was picking strawberries this morning and kind of watching myself going between two states. Like, there was part of me that was frustrated that I had so many strawberries. I mean, how privileged is that? And then and then there's part of me that's just so in with the strawberries and just like thanking them as I'm pulling them, and it was like a Jekyll and Hyde moment of here is a modern human flittering between the eco-awakened state and the kind of like human exceptionalism. And I was like, yeah, interesting. So yeah, I am really grateful for my strawberries. I have to say that I have strawberries, if I'm lucky, from now until October, and I am really, really grateful for those plants, the soils, everything that's fed them, and also the humans that have worked with strawberries over centuries, so that now there are everberries that take the season right into October.
Unbelievable.
Blown away by that. A complete strawberry pig, so it's great. So that's my, I just want to say gratitude to them, and also own up to my flittering. Well, it's obvious, isn't it? I'm sitting here on tech. I'm a modern human, and my eco awakening state waxes and wanes.
It does. And also something about a computer is Earth too.
Yeah,
I keep trying to remind myself of that, of like, computer is Earth too, the electricity is Earth too, the stones and precious metals and glass and everything is Earth too.
Totally.
There's not anything that's not Earth, like we were saying, Earth and water and fire and air. Nothing is not those things.
Yeah, and there's I don't know where this is from, so apologies for not being able to root it into attribution to whoever it was, and it might be Native American, but I heard it through John Young and the Eight Shields. But he talks about first creation and second creation, and I really like that as a kind of, they're both of creation, they're all earth, air, fire, and water. There is no separation, and yet there is there is a difference at the same time as then being, all of the same matter, all of the same
So
physical component.
wait, so what is first and second creation? Because I've never heard that before.
So first creation is kind of like the what we would call nature, and then second creation is man-made. It's where we
Mm,
we have humans have kind of come in and been creative
mm,
with those beings, sometimes in a respectful way,
mm,
and sometimes, often, not in a respectful way,
mm,
not in an honoring way, but in a
mm,
way from our separateness.
mhm,
So
mm,
yeah, so I kind of like that as a
mm,
as a kind of
mhm,
honoring both things, the
mhm,
paradox that, yes, it is all nature in inverted commas, and at the same time
mm.
there is a difference between an old forest and a shopping centre,
Yes,
you know.
truly.
you know. So yeah.
The shopping center is not regenerative. Regenerative.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or, if you're balancing
Right.
up kind of like life, kind of whether it's life enhancing
Well,
or
that's what I
very,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Just it,
yeah,
like a forest
yeah,
is a
yeah,
cyclical regenerative creature.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
right. What am I grateful for? I'm
Mm.
grateful for the Osprey family.
Ooh.
That I got to see the baby for the first time picking her head up out of the nest.
Mm.
And for the Crane family that lives out on the meadow here, who
Mm.
I saw walking along today. Mom and
Mhm.
dad always walk. I don't know which one is which because male and female cranes actually look the same.
Mhm.
So mom and mama, papa, whichever way, and then the two babies in between walking along. Ah,
Mm.
yeah.
I'm just wondering, you might want to say where you are
Oh,
on this
on
spinning
this
ball,
jewel.
so that those
Yeah,
in the UK will kind of go, where is she?
it's true.
Because there's often a UK assumption that everybody's in the UK. So
Ah,
yeah.
which is interesting.
Mm.
Historically, right?
Yeah.
um, is that Caesar? Everybody should be in Rome because of the
Hmm.
Holy Roman Empire spreading.
Yeah.
I am in northeastern Germany. I am in the
Mm.
Lake District between Berlin and the Baltic Sea, which I found
Mm.
out recently is the most heavily polluted sea in the world. No idea.
Mm. Wow.
We're going to be there
That's,
in a month, you and
yeah.
I, on the
Yeah.
shores of the Baltic Sea in
Yeah.
Latvia, guiding.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Looking forward
about
to that.
halfway. I'm halfway between those two. On
Mm.
the largest lake in Germany, the Müritz, which is the largest
Mm.
sweetwater body of water in Germany, even larger
Wow.
than Lake Constance down
Mm.
south.
Mm. I think every time you tell me about the other than humans that you meet there, I'm always amazed by
Mm.
the, I suppose in my mind, I have Germany as not a wild place, in
In
that
my
sense.
mind, for
And
13 years, I had Germany
yeah,
not as a wild place, and I've moved here, and
yeah,
it's like there's wolves here,
I know,
and
I
there's
know.
osprey, and there's
Yeah,
cranes, and there's checkerboard wild sows with babies and foxes,
wow,
and
incredible the
yeah.
richness of it. And then I'm here in Cymru, which, in some ways it's pretty rural. And then we have swifts and rooks that are
Mm.
almost endangered, and we
Mm.
definitely
Really?
don't. Yeah, we've got, I think, one crane family have come to the Newport
Mm.
wetlands area, and then there are osprey on the Dovey estuary, but that's it.
Mm.
It's like it's so impoverished now. I know
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
I tell you,
pains me.
it's, yeah, I get it. It makes my whole life. Oh, there was a swallow just flew by. We're in the middle
Mm.
of a swallow swarm all the time because there's nests
Mhm.
on our house.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I totally get that pain. I lived with that
Mm.
pain for years here in
Mm.
Germany,
Mm.
in Frankfurt, and then where I was before this.
Mm.
And it's like literally a whole other world to have
Yeah.
to have more other than human neighbors than humans
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
village that
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Just and we are so privileged. Talk about privilege. Like when
Yeah.
I look out my window, I just see meadow and forest,
Mm.
and the lake is 300 meters from here. I can't see it because there's forest between us. But
Mm.
that's where the boar live, right there.
Mm.
And the fox goes
Wow.
mouse hunting on the meadow, and the deer family goes walking and munching along the meadow. And
Mm,
it just, what it does for my whole being to know that they're,
mm,
and to know that wolves live in this ecosystem,
mm,
just knowing they're there
mm,
changes my whole consciousness, my whole awareness. Yeah, it's
mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Oh, so
mm,
here we are landed
mhm.
in our places. It feels like, yeah, I'm really grateful that we just did that.
Mm,
Just like, yeah, here we are,
mhm,
us humans woven
mhm,
into place, whether we
mm,
recognize it or not.
mm,
I believe that we're going to be recapping a little bit
mm,
on the last podcast on what is eco awakening.
mhm,
Um, and then we are going to do an experiential piece. So
mhm,
people hold on in there, and yeah, I'm going to invite you to be really present
mm,
to your beingness and
mhm.
belonging in a way that you might want to practice. And yeah, so where should we start the recap? Have you got any sifts on that? What is eco awakening?
Yeah, well, where you just were pointing to, I think, is already the
Mm,
beginning, isn't it? Like
mm,
our way of belonging to Earth community. What, how we were
mm,
just beginning, the strawberries that you're in
mm,
relationship with, the, I know the mountain that you're in relationship with, the
mm,
bees that you're in relationship with, the
mm,
wild ones I'm in relationship with is already,
mm,
a weaving in and a pointing to a way of conscious relationship with the other than human world. And it's like a recognition of co-participate co co-participation with the whole world, that
mm,
that there are no things.
mm.
Everything is embedded and in consciousness.
Yeah.
And has dream and has wish and has babies and tends them and
Mm,
has a life.
mm,
Everything has eyes that's looking back,
mm.
you know.
I like the sense. I was on a beach on Sunday,
Mm.
and I was running the sand through my fingers and
Mm.
just feeling that and really sensuous. And then I was
Mm.
recognizing that the sand was feeling me.
Mm.
And oh, I've got goosebumps again just remembering it.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
this like you know, just this sense of like we're both feeling each other.
Mm.
You know, I'm feeling the sea on my body as I bodyboard, and sea is feeling me
Mm.
moving through her,
Mm.
trying to find the gracefulness to
Mm.
go with the wave,
Mm.
and
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Way.
mm,
So it's a way of being in relationship
mm, yeah,
with the others that we
yeah,
normally assign to human relationships,
yeah,
and kind
yeah,
of end there, right? And
mm,
say like I'm only in relationship with other humans, and then there's
yeah,
the rest of the world.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that is very clearly what it's not, is a mental understanding that we're part of
Hmm.
a food chain or some kind of like scientific ecological knowing.
Hmm.
That can be part of it, but
Right.
that's not the whole thing. It's really embodied emotional, sensory,
Yep.
deeply imaginative experience that
Hmm.
changes everything,
Yeah.
because that belonging trumps any other belonging that you had before to
Hmm.
culture, to some form of identity that is very human centric.
Hmm.
That's a particular shift that takes place with this
Hmm.
belonging, is that actually, for first and foremost, the others are really important still, but
Hmm.
first and foremost, I belong. I'm part. I am Earth.
Yeah.
I am
And
Earth.
it's almost like, if I would just say
Mm,
the same thing from a different perspective, which is um, it's as if and human relationships grow up out of
mm,
our belonging to Earth, or our beingness
mm,
of Earth, and our
mm,
knowing of our relationality with the other than human world, the ecosystem,
mhm,
is that the human relationships grow up out of that,
mhm.
rather than being ideologically separate from, or
Yeah,
some, but
yeah,
that. Yes, that the separation collapses, you know?
Yeah, and that's the important part of like why is eco awakening important? What you've
Mm,
just identified there is that healthy cultures grow from they're not fought. We can't
mhm,
design it strategically.
mhm,
It actually grows from this relationship.
right.
Our ancestral
Mhm,
innate knowing of our belonging was how our indigenous ancestors lived, and possibly
right.
indigenous people still who are place indigenous,
Mhm,
still they grow their healthy reciprocal relationship. uh it's not like somebody's designing it and saying, oh, we need this bit and this bit and
mhm,
this bit, all of which is really useful
mhm.
as a tool,
Yeah.
that strategic mind, but it is
Yeah.
not a good master.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I was
not.
just thinking about
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah,
Ploxton's
me
latest
too, yeah.
podcast, no, musing,
Musing.
and yeah, because I was reading that there and
Yeah,
kind of getting, yeah.
we can't quote unquote fix the quote unquote problem of these
Hmm.
times by deciding
Hmm.
what it is we should be doing. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to paraphrase him, but something like, first of all, getting everybody to agree on the thing we should do
Yeah,
is like
would be
impossible.
impossible. Yeah.
And second of all, exactly that, like
Yeah.
how we humans in this, how we humans, the humans I'm with here in this particular place, in this lake
Mm,
district, this much water in the landscape and these birds and these
mm,
insects and these creatures, how I'm in a relationship or we as humans are part of this ecosystem is going to be a totally different quote answer
mm.
than to the way that your ecosystem is quote
Yeah.
solving the problem. So
Yeah.
really that how do we dream, how do we co-dream, how do we co-create the
Yeah.
world that we're in, not in a like vision boarding kind of way but
Mm.
in a response to the relationships that we're in.
To the place. I'm just thinking about how the word parochial, which means of your parish,
Mm.
is used as a kind of form of abuse
Mm-hmm.
in the British language of like,
Mm.
oh, that's very parochial minded. It's kind of like
Oh.
it's a diminishing thing, as opposed to,
Mm.
like it's not global enough, it's not big
Right.
enough. And actually,
It's kind of
to be
condescending, yeah.
parish is like to really be in relationship to your parish, to your place, to your Mr. Square, as they call it in Welsh, as we talked before in Cymraeg. But in the previous podcast, I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that. But it's like, yeah, just really getting that. Somebody used the word
Mm-hmm.
recently in this
Mm-hmm.
diminishing way, and I was like, "Oof, there
Yeah.
you go. There it is. There's the
There it is.
colonisation just happening in the language in the spell we cast
There
right
it
there."
is. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with being from your place
No.
in that fullest sense.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably what's being asked of us right now by
Way.
Earth.
Way. I was listening to the new, most recent Emerald podcast, and um, Josh was talking about. Oh, I've just lost it. Oh, and the animist or the kind of way of the worldview
Mm,
of understanding the world as animate, as
mm,
ensouled and
mm,
conscious, eyes looking back,
mm.
um, it was used to be seen as kind of a primitive,
Yeah.
um, way of looking at the world. Like, oh,
Mm,
those poor primitives, they
yeah.
don't really get what's going on. Was the
Yeah.
kind of subtext
Yeah. Yeah.
um, of this colonial idea of science trumping everything and being the
Mm,
non-anthropomorphism and not and totally rational Descartes thing. We talked about that last time as
mm,
well. Um, and now it's sort of like seen as a beautiful mistake, he was saying. That like
mm,
the new age liberal folks think of indigenous folks like, oh, isn't that beautiful that you
mm,
see the world as conscious and call, grandmother moon or grandmother clay, or isn't that beautiful? But it's just sort of still slightly condescending, like it's a beautiful mistake. Like, oh, you're so sweet and you're so
mhm,
beautiful,
mm,
which is
mm,
also terrible, right?
mhm.
Instead of, no, but that's really actually how the world is.
It's actually
It's
accurate.
really actually accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
all come from people who knew that and were in relationship
Yeah.
with their parish, with their place in
Mm,
that way. Yeah.
mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's a good segue to the poem. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a good way to go. Yeah, yeah, go for it.
So this is Being a Person from William Stafford.
Mm.
Be a person here. Stand by the river. Invoke the owls. Invoke winter, then spring. Let any season that wants to come here make its own call. After that sound goes away, wait. A slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to include sky, stars, all space, even the outracing, expanding thought. Come back and hear the little sound again. Suddenly, this dream you are having matches everyone's dream, and the result is the world. If a different call came, there wouldn't be any world, or you, or the river, or the owls calling. How you stand here is important. How you stand here is important.
Mm.
How you listen for the next things to happen. How you breathe.
Mm. 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 Just invite everybody to just listen in to how that's landing in you.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just noticing in me, it's kind of my eyes wetting
Mm.
with the longing
Mm.
to remember, to
Mm.
listen, that
Mm.
how I breathe matters, how I move in the world, whether I am thanking the strawberries or feeling sorry for myself that I've got so many to pick, you know, that matters, and
Mm. Mm.
not to make myself wrong, and at the same time to intend to grow more into one. There's always room for improvement.
Mm. Mm.
And that piece about listening, I
Mm.
was stroking my cat this morning and
Mm.
looking at her face and her eyes, which are like little owl eyes, and
Mm.
she's quite elderly now,
Mm.
and I was seeing these two eyes and these two ears that are constantly flicking, um, and uh, and then I was struck by her one mouth. Then I was like, well, there's an interesting direction
Mm.
from the way things are, that
Mhm.
most mammals have got two ears and one mouth, and there's an invitation to listen more than we talk.
Mhm.
And and just thinking about how much of the eco awakened state is about
Mm.
listening. And as I sat out this morning, uh, listening, as is my practice, listening into both birdsong and traffic, and thinking about my ancestors uh, on this land here, and um, all our ancestors, and maybe 300 years ago,
Mm.
the percentage of human noise they listened to in
Mm.
comparison to other than human, and how much more other than human they would be
Mhm.
listening to. And now with earphones, whatever they're called, headphones, and
Mhm.
this constant availability of
Mhm.
music and podcasts and
Mhm.
information
Mhm.
and Zoom calls and all these things of the second creation,
Mhm.
which are not wrong, um, and they are, you know, there is something about balance that
Mhm.
I'm curious about, what's happened to us that we spend so much time listening to
Mm.
human created
Mm.
sound, um, and wandering and also perceiving. So I've been really focusing in on learning bird song
Mm.
this spring,
Mm.
and noticing, and I already know quite a lot but
Mm.
thanks to the British Trust for Ornithology, which run these courses where you can learn in a really quite, I don't know, I just found it really efficient
Mm.
way. Like I was like, suddenly I was like, oh, well, that's a wren. I can't stop hearing wrens now,
Mm.
and dunnocks and all sorts. I'm just going around in the garden, and my mind is
Mm.
elsewhere. But I was
Mm.
actually in a really human environment at Hay
Mm.
Literature Festival
Mm.
um, for a whole week, and my
Mm.
mind was just tuning in. My reticular activating system in my brain is now listening into other than humans, more than
Mm.
humans, and I was just walking and just tracking. Oh, that's where the dunnocks are. That's where the goldfinches are. That's where the gold crests are, which was
Mm.
really exciting because they're almost subaudible. They're like
Oh.
sound, and yeah, I'm grateful that my ears still work to that capacity.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I'm just really aware of the need to listen.
Mm.
Um, and listening isn't just listening in
Mm. Mm.
audibly, but
Mm.
I mean, maybe you want to say about the other ways of knowing. Maybe you might want to go into that,
Mm.
because that seems to be, it's not just listening
Mhm.
into nature sounds. Um, there are other ways of listening in.
Mhm.
Listening is a whole body experience.
It is, yeah. I do. And before I go there, I want to say that it's I don't know who said, someone said, civilization is 3 days deep,
Mm.
and that we need to be out of, quote, civilization in a wild or semi-wild place for 3 days before
Mm.
our senses are uh, able to really perceive.
Mm.
And I can really attest to that. When I used to
Mm.
live in the city, and then I would come out to the garden with Katya, and we'd live, in a place where you basically only heard the brook and birdsong, and every once in a while a car. And I could feel my ears after it took 3 days to.
Mm.
It was almost like my ears internally had been bracing against the city
Mm.
sounds, and it
Mm.
took 3 days both for like my ears to relax and open
Mm.
again,
Mm.
as well as it really felt like this recalibration that
Mm.
I could hear more after those 3 days, not only because of the inner relaxation, but also because my ears started to actually be able to hear many more things than I used to
Mhm.
be able to hear. And so and then the other thing is, of course, where we put our attention, which is what you were just speaking
Mhm.
to. When you're learning
Mhm.
birdsong, you start to put
Beautiful.
your attention somewhere,
Mm.
which suddenly means you start hearing it all the time.
I just hear it all the
All
time.
the
Yeah.
time,
You know what? You've just saying that, you've just reminded me of like attunement.
Mhm,
We know about attunement through
mhm,
attachment theory and
mhm.
stuff like that. And when you were
Weird.
saying that, I was just thinking about, the thing that attachment theory doesn't talk about is the um, lack of connection with the Mother Earth, if you like.
Way.
And so what you're talking about is attuning to, the attunement to the mother,
Yeah, I
basically,
love that.
and the mother's
Hmm.
attunement to you, because
Yeah,
of course
way.
it'll be reciprocal.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
that she's always attuning to you, and
Hmm.
you're becoming aware of her attunement to you.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful. Mm.
Our ears are made for that
Mm.
literal attunement. Our ears are
Mm.
made to be tuned to the
Mm.
frequencies of the natural world,
Oh,
to birdsong, really. That's how
mm.
our sense of hearing has even
Mm.
developed the variety, they say
Hmm.
now.
Because of
That it
birdsong.
has because of birdsong.
Oh, wow, amazing.
That our
I didn't
consciousness,
know.
our hearing was shaped by birdsong, or co-shaped, co-created with birdsong. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that with my cats, and the other than humans, like the deer that run on the land here, is like how little they use their voices, and how
Mm-hmm.
much the ears of the deer
Mm-hmm.
constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They
Mm.
use their voices to call for their mates, eh? That's what they
Yeah,
use them
right.
for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or I shouldn't say mates in the UK, that means something different. They're beloveds.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Beautiful.
So these other ways of knowing that you were pointing to, yeah, so we first we want to open up the senses a little bit, right? Like we want to say the that listening, um, this kind of receptive way of being present includes soft gaze, open-eyed gaze, includes what are we picking up with our bodies, what energies, what temperatures, what sounds, what yeah, presences do we pick up with our bodies? When a predator's in the area,
Mm,
our hairs on our necks stand up just like the deer, um
mhm,
uh intuition, the way that we just know somebody's there, the shape of the grass is different, and
mhm,
then we suddenly see the deer, standing there. So opening our perceptive windows and our senses, how does
mm,
the smell of, when do I know that a wild boar is in the bushes over there, because I'm smelling them.
mhm.
I don't hear anything, but I smell that like piggy, wildish smell. Or fox. I love to smell
Oh,
the
a
musk of
tang.
the fox,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's like
Mm,
smelling their trail. I know the
mm,
fox has come by, and when it's
mm,
hours later, but it's like,
mm,
oh, hi, fox.
mhm,
Uh, So to walk through the world with our senses that open,
mm,
which is tough business if you live in a city, I gotta say.
mm.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So there's also this wisdom of like, do I have doors I can open and close? My
Mm,
perceptive doors.
mm,
Close my perceptive doors when I go out into the hubbub and the hustle and the bustle and the car driving and all the things. That I need to be focused and
mm,
not having everything open. And then how to practice opening those windows
mhm,
of perception so that
mm,
all my senses can be awake and alive to the other than humans.
beautiful.
So important, yeah.
Yeah, titrating it,
Mm,
just finding the place where you can be open
mhm,
enough. Maybe it's just that your eyes find the birds in the
mm,
sky between the buildings,
mhm,
or the sky herself, or you know
mhm,
the way the trees move, what have you.
yeah,
And then keeping the smells out and the sound out. I don't know. Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
Mm.
So that's the senses,
Mm.
right? And then we have
Mm.
the feeling body. We have the
Mm.
emotional body, the the body that um, of that this heart, that has an entire physiology that is tuned. Talk about attunement, emotionally to our world. That we're constantly
Mm.
responding to what we're taking in with our senses,
Mm.
emotionally,
Mm.
through memory, through presence, through longing or grief or joy,
Mm.
rage, whatever it is, that all of our emotions are ways of actually being in deep conversation with the
Mm.
other than human world.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And therefore, every single one is holy. Every single one is
Mm.
life energy moving,
Mhm.
dancing through us like weather.
All is welcome.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And again, finding those times. It's
Mm.
like not every emotion is welcome with every person or in every situation,
Mm. Mm.
but we then get stuck in the doors
Mhm.
closed place. How do
Mm.
we also remember to open the doors?
Mm.
Remember, one of my former teachers said, uh, our dogs and our cats, you've spoken already of your cat,
Mhm.
are our most undefended relationships. And it's like there's something about the relationship, this kind of cross species
Mm.
togetherness that allows such beautiful emotion to be present. And it's like the range of acceptance for what is,
Mm.
is so precious and so beautiful.
It is. It blows me away that these, I mean, cats especially, because they're wild, they're still wild, but they
Mm,
choose to be with us. And I
mm,
like, I love dogs and cats, and I've had dogs as well. But having raised 6 children, I don't want a dependent, another dependent. So I choose to have cats now. But but like just this wild creature
mm,
wandering through my space, or
mm,
the space that we share. Actually,
mm,
it's not my space.
mm, mm,
I'm just like, whoa, that's just phenomenal. Who
mm,
has a completely different
mm,
perception of this place, and just it just blows me away
mm.
quite often. But this is my good fortune
Mm-hmm.
that I have these beings
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Yeah,
with me.
talk about listening. My dog is my teacher in how to listen.
Mm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And how to smell.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So what's the next window?
Well, I often leave the thinking, the heart-centered thinking till last. So my
Mm,
next window would be the one of the deep
mm,
imagination. And this is the part when we slow enough where we might receive responses
mm,
from other than humans,
mhm,
um, where dreams that have been
mm,
troubling us come into our awareness.
mhm,
Or and this is different from fantasy. I have to
mm,
say that because I didn't know this for a long time.
mm,
And deeply imaginative people are often, they have an escapist element to it, which is
mm,
fantasy.
mhm,
You meet somebody and within half an hour you've imagined getting married and having children and decided the names of the children in your imagination, and it's all very invested in emotion, that kind of fantasy. It's not the same thing. Deep imagination is where the wildness in you is really meeting the wildness in the
mm,
world. And
mhm, mhm.
yeah, it's
Right.
yeah. So it might be that images come, you
Mhm,
know, and I believe that you'll get an experience of this quite shortly, because it's the one that I find hardest to explain and
mm,
easiest
mhm.
to, it's easier to explain through the experience of it. So that's what
Right.
I'll say about that one.
Well, it reminds me of the poem, really, doesn't it? There's this part
Right.
here: invoke the owls, invoke winter, then spring. You know, this part of us
Mm,
that is able to invoke
mm,
creatures and owls and
mm,
seasons. Um,
mhm,
and then a slow bubble rises through the earth and begins to
mhm,
include sky, stars, all space, even
mm.
the outracing, expanding thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that part of us that can feel that we're star
Mm-hmm.
can still remember
Yeah.
that we are kin
Mm-hmm.
of star, that we came from star, and
Right.
that we are on this trajectory
Mm-hmm.
in this little lifetime of ours, hurtling through space
Mm-hmm.
as Earth. That part, that's where the deep imagination really,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
is potent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
beautiful.
Suddenly, this dream you are having matches everyone's dream.
Yeah,
Deep imagination, the dreaming of
yeah, yeah,
Earth. Can we
yeah.
participating in the dreaming of Earth? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, who is it? Thomas Berry and people like Janine Marie
Mm.
Hogan and Brian
Brian
Swim,
Swim.
talking about how, I think it was Janine Marie Hogan who actually coined it, but that, Earth, humans may be Earth's forward moving imagination,
Mm-hmm.
but this might actually be our eco niche,
Mm-hmm.
that we're here to imagine as Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when we aren't listening
Mm-hmm.
to that, then what we imagine is like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say that we're living that right now,
Right.
because
So
our
there we are, back
imagination,
to eco
back to
awakening.
eco awakening, yeah, because we're our imagination is kind of hijacked by kind of immature elements of our ego.
Mm-hmm.
Our strategic mind rules the roost,
Right.
and our slavery to
Mm.
well, slavery to what? Slavery to colonization. Uh, that whole paradigm.
Yeah.
Mm. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that's deep imagination in a little nutshell. Unless you've got more to add.
No, that's beautiful. And then the heart centered thinking. So
Art-centered thinking.
the thinking that is not the strategic mind that you just described,
Mm. Mm.
that is beholden to capitalist, consumerist, um, immature nightmares of um,
Mm.
ownership and conquering and
Mhm.
colonization,
Mhm.
what we call modernity, but
Mhm.
rather the thinking that is centered in the heart, that is the
Mhm.
compassionate, empathic
Mm.
thinking, that is the kind of thinking that is needed in order to embody and manifest a vision. And
Mhm.
that the vision comes from earth streaming, or the vision comes from from spirit. The vision comes from ceremony or dream, and the heart thinking, the heart-centered thinking, is the thinking that can that is compassionately committed to embodying that vision or manifesting that vision.
And distills it into action.
Mm.
It's the crystallization of the dream. That distills it into action.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like it always, in modern education systems, as I've experienced, as somebody who went through them, and also as somebody who looked at them hard,
Mm.
um, when considering how to raise my own children, is like it really privileges just thinking, especially rational, strategic thinking. And I don't want to diss it. It's really useful, but it's a servant. It's like, so it needs to be the servant in service to, in the
Right.
true sense of servant,
And
rather
who
than
is
in
it in service
charge.
to?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So really, imagine if we went about our business by feeling our emotions and listening in through our deep imagination to earth, and through our body knowing and our body intelligence.
Yeah.
And then our thinking, our heart
Mm-hmm.
centered thinking came on board. So that's something I strive to remember in my
Beautiful.
going about my business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why don't we give our listeners a journey of that very
Yeah.
process? If you want to, would you like to invite us through the drop-in? Would you
Yeah.
care?
Yeah. So at this point, peeps, you might want to find yourself somewhere comfortable. You might want to take a pee at this point, or stop the recording, just so that you can be really present for a few minutes and not be distracted. And you might want to make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. So yeah, and yeah, I notice I'm starting to take deep breaths and invite you to follow your breath to your belly. Get yourself comfortable, settled, slowing your breath. Mm. Mm. The breath as a kind of priestess or guide, taking you deeper into your body.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. And if your mind skitters away, that's fine. That's what minds do. And you might want to just gently invite it back to your breath.
Mm.
And the slowing down and the dropping down. And just doing a quick scan of the whole of your body and noticing where things are clenched, be it your jaw, be it your shoulders, be it your genitals. Just unclench. Relax. Each breath dropping in and an invitation to loosen and let go of the boundaries, ways we keep ourselves separate. And again, if your mind is flying off into things to do, or I'm doing this wrong, or whatever, just thank it. It's doing what it does. Bring yourself back to your body. And it might help to bring yourself into connection to places of contact between you and the material world. So notice what's going on where your feet meet earth, meet the ground. or the chair if they're tucked underneath you, where your butt meets the chair, where your back meets the chair, where your hands are on your lap. Just noticing there, the touch. How do your feet feel? Are they tingly or warm or cold? How do your hands feel? How does your butt feel as it leans into the support of the chair, which is itself supported by the ground, which is itself supported by earth? Just making that connection between where you are. You might be on the fourth story of somewhere, yet you're still got roots down through your body, through the body of earth, in the second creation of chair and building and floor, to earth, first creation, topsoil, alive with beings, going down into the subsoil, where there might be bones of things, and rocks and stones, and a place where soil turns into bedrock. Bedrock and little pockets of gas and oil and maybe dinosaur bone and fossils going down. Ah, you feel that downward falling that you're doing down towards the center of Earth, this planet that you are part of through this connection body. This physical being. All the way down to that molten center, molten tin and iron. Mm. So yeah, the sensation of touch can take us a long way through this body intelligence. Bringing yourself to the sensation of hearing. What can you hear beyond my voice? Can you hear any sound of other than humans? Can you hear any sounds that we might call man-made? Being with the sounds in their purest sense, noticing their qualities. Don't need to judge them. Curious about them. How they are when they arrive, kind of patterns they make in you. What is the quietest sound that you can hear right now? What is the sound that soothes you most right now? Mm. And then, yeah, sensing. What can you smell and taste? I'm going to do those together because they're really close. Just noticing and, be like dog or deer or fox. Move your nose around, see, explore with nose. Smells of you with you. Well, there's some that feel, sense like they are from first creation. Like, I don't know about you, but I've got an abundance of roses in my garden. Their sweetness just stops me in my tracks sometimes. Mm. Mm. Notice if there are smells that are second creation, that are unmade. And taste. Try drawing in air through your mouth. Noticing what taste is in your mouth. And then there is seeing. And that is the one that we use the most. And I'm not going to invite you to open your eyes right now. I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes closed. Because the sense of sight is the one that we use the most, and is the one that is most closely aligned to our strategic and thinking mind, except when we move into peripheral vision, which helps us stay in our other ways of knowing. So just stay with your eyes softened or closed. And I'm going to hand over to you, Ra, for the next part of this.
Thank you. So turning our attention to this heart center of ours, the feeling place of us, and beginning to turn our awareness towards what is moving inside of you, which creatures, which, if our feelings are like creatures, which ones are traveling through the landscapes of your heart? Or if our feelings are like weather, what weather is moving across the skies of your inner world, the firmament of your inner world? And you might notice physiological aspects. You might notice your heart rate, or your breath, or your temperature. Or you might notice a feeling tone like sadness or joy or anger, happiness, fear, and any shade and nuance of those. Compassionately turning towards your own experience of being a human creature in this moment, in this life. Soft and vulnerable, and in relationship with the human world and the other than human world. Stephen Buhner calls the heart an organ of perception. We might perceive our inner world and the outer world through the organ of our heart, and the way that those relate with, inform, imagine, co-create each other in the landscape of our hearts. Welcoming all the inner voices, all the ones who are longing to be seen and heard by you. The multiplicity, the ecosystem that is the creatureliness of being human, the multiplicity we call an individual.
Mm. Yeah, what's the vibe of the place where you are? You just said Stephen Puna piece, just that, yeah. How does this place where your body is feel?
Mm.
What's the vibe, the emotion of this place? You may be picking that up. It may be entangled with your own emotions right now. Some places have an innate sense of peacefulness, and some places feel hurt,
Mm.
feel sad, feel wounded.
Mm.
It's the vibe. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, and that's where we start to move into the other way of knowing, which is the deep imagination. As we move around this wheel of the four ways of knowing. Just as you bring yourself into your body and into your emotions and the weather of that, noticing if any images are coming to you. What images came as you tuned into your feelings or sense of touch and smell and sound? And just right now, just tuning in to how your body is, and if there are sensations, what color are they? If there are emotions, what do they remind you of? What associations do you have with them? And don't overthink it, just let them come. This is a listening, not a thinking exercise. So just ask the question and then breathe and listen. Like you're asking at the doorway of the night, like, what do you want me to know? And just wait and see what comes. It may be that a dream that came, a night dream comes, or or a memory of an event from the last week. Just really like you're standing at a doorway looking out at the dark night sky and you have no idea what's going to come. Just invite that. Do you want me to know, mystery? Do you want me to know, my dark muse beloved? What is it you want me to be with? Just see what comes through the doorway into your imagination. As I'm speaking, there is thunder rumbling outside. Might also be that something in the other than human world is responding. Sounds like thunder is meant for me to be with.
And you might ask, what do you want of me? To the one who's come. The way the world longs for us, particularly the way you stand there matters. The call you put out matters because the earth, the world is longing for you. And if you hear what earth is longing for you of this moment here, this beloved who's come, you might feel into whether you're willing to give it or do it. Which brings us around the wheel to heart-centered thinking.
If you are willing, are you willing?
If you are willing
to do what is being asked of you, rather than thinking you know what needs to happen. If you are willing to be that humble, To be
So,
that obedient in the true sense of the word.
in heart-centered thinking, we are listening, not knowing. We are hearing the way the world is longing for us to participate. And then we're inviting the gifts and the capacities and the experience and the competencies that we have to respond, to flow through us and become embodied action, participation, co-participation, co-creation of the world through our dedication and offering of what we are and have to what is being asked of us by the world. And sometimes it's a matter of how you stand there. It's a matter of the call you give or the call you respond to. Sometimes it's a matter of how you listen for the next thing to happen or how you breathe. Sometimes that's all the action that is needed. And then,
instead of all the trying hard, we try softly for a change. Instead of all the efforting, which is such a stepping off the mainstream paradigm, to actually try softly, to actually wait. Yeah. How do we then use all our skills, all our capacities to manifest, to generate, to offer nurturance?
So you might move your way through these 4 windows. You might go out to a wildish place and you might open your senses, including your eyes, but allow them to be soft and wide open.
Owl eyes.
Owl eyes or deer eyes, that kind of soft, open awareness of the one who eats grass. And then you might notice how your heart responds once you've opened your senses, and you might speak words, sharing what's moving in you, or you might speak words mirroring back what you see or smell or taste or touch out loud to the wild ones. This is what I notice about you, beautiful oak. This is when I smell your flowers, elder. This is what happens in my body. This is the softness. When I feel the softness of the petals on my nose and this smell that is both sweet and like life and death in the same breath, my heart cracks open and I go diving into your beauty. Imaginally, and I'm in the imaginal world, right? Diving into the beauty of that soft life death smell of the elder.
And as your mind or your kind of fragmented parts rustle in and kind of go, what are you doing? This is foolishness. Just thank them. Just thank them and say, today I will be a sacred fool. I will offer my finest words and all my senses. I will make myself prey to these beautiful ones. I will fall prey to them.
And may my words be a feast of praise and gratitude and blessing, that my own heart might be filled with nectar for the bees to drink from, to bring my prayers and my longings to the holy and the wild. I might participate in the ritual reciprocity of this relationship with the other than humans.
As I cultivate and move towards my own eco awakening, which is a beautiful segue. That is one way, as mirrored beautifully there by you, of eco awakening, which is, what we want to share with you are how do we become eco awakening, this first initial shift from the mainstream paradigm of separation into this entangledness and inseparability, knowing our inseparability, because we're not separate, it's a
Right.
construct.
Right.
How do we do this? And that practice is
Mm.
one of the ways that we would invite you
Mm.
to uh, move towards eco
Mm.
awakening and remain eco awakened. Because it is possible to become
Mm.
eco sleepy, I
Mm.
reckon. So yeah, we're gonna just say a few kind of
Mm.
practical like
Mhm.
tips, top cards tips
Mhm.
for how to cultivate eco awakening.
Mhm.
Mm. So one of the ways is to go wandering with your yearning, with your desire to
Mhm.
share your finest words with other than humans by dropping into your senses, um, and your emotions and your deep imagination, as we've just done, and also, yeah, going wandering with your yearning, this longing to show up more, to show up more fully, and to be humble, to
Mhm.
be obedient to what is being asked of you, not thinking strategically what needs to happen to save the planet in inverted commas.
Mhm.
It's a really different kettle of fish.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and telling your earth's longings out loud as
Mm.
you spoke.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is a courting. It's a very
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Uh, yeah.
The thing you said there about being willing to be a sacred fool, a
Mm.
fool for life, a fool for love,
Mhm.
a fool in love,
Mhm.
um, is, there's something about that hurdle here that
Mm.
it's like, yeah, it feels weird in the beginning
Mm.
to do these sorts of things, like talk out loud with trees, not to them, with them.
Mhm.
um, Greet the other than human neighbors in your ecosystem, in your neighborhood as you go out for a
Mhm.
walk. Hello osprey,
Mhm.
hello crane. Um, Call back to the ravens when they call out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, it feels weird. It can feel weird at the beginning,
Mm.
um, especially
And
if
it can you can feel phony,
and we can feel
but in
phony.
the cycle of competence, when we're learning a new skill, there is an element of feeling phony when we're consciously competent of it. It can feel like this is awkward, and just keep going.
So your inner child might help you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that one knows how to play pretend, how to play
Yeah.
imagination, how to play in the world and be in that kind of a relationship. We all actually already know how
Mm.
to do this, right?
Yeah. 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 We've done it until it was educated out of us.
Right.
We've all done this before, and yeah, yeah, and there's something about being really tender with the
Mm.
parts of us that show up to stop us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting angry, not getting annoyed, actually realizing that they are trying to keep us safe
Mm-hmm.
because we've needed them in the past, and thanking them for their hard and loyal duties, and also saying, and I really want to remember my belonging here,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to keep going. Please,
Right.
please step down.
And we
So,
encourage you to do this every single day. Go
yes.
out, find a place that's close to you, even in your own garden,
Mm,
every single day.
mm,
Sit, open your senses, open your heart, open
mm,
your imagination.
mm,
Go for wanders every day, even if it's just short.
mhm,
And also,
mhm.
what you were saying earlier, also go out for extended time to,
Yeah.
like I mentioned, civilization is 3 days deep. Go out
Mm,
for 5 days, so that
mhm,
so the first 3 days are getting civilization out of your system, and then you can actually
mhm.
be in immediate contact, immediate conversation. What's that word? Uninterrupted? No, I can't think of the word.
Unimpeded?
Unimpeded,
Mm,
unintermediated, something like that.
mm. Yeah,
Contact, direct contact
yeah,
with the wild
yeah,
ones.
yeah. In your inseparability with
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a little really super practical piece here that there's a saying, um, there's a saying which I'm sure you know, which is there's no such thing as bad weather, there is bad clothing. And not that I want to make clothing wrong either, but it can really help just to round up or borrow kit.
Mhm.
So because being out learning to love heavy rain. I mean, I live in
Mhm.
Cymru, so you have to, or else you'd go mad here. But learning to love it you can really be aided by having decent waterproofs,
Yeah.
so that you look forward to being out in that kind of, I call it the mobile ocean, that I sometimes feel like I'm at sea, even though
Mm.
I'm not.
Mm.
Um, and in the cold, and in just some of the clothes that masquerade as weather clothes are not
Mm.
suitable.
Mm.
So yeah. And also the other piece is learning, actually practically
Mm.
learning about the indigenous folk of your place
Mm.
and of your lineage.
Mm.
So it may be that you live in a place that isn't of your lineage,
Mm.
but you might still want to learn about those folk,
Mm. Mm.
but also learn about what's in your blood and in your
Mm.
bones. Um, so if you live in America, learn about your European ancestry. If you've come from Europe or where have you, or India or wherever, and how they lived, and learn how they lived, the
Mm. Mm.
practicalities of how they lived. Do those things with your body.
Mm.
Those can be really practical ways of courting
Mhm.
um, eco awakening. Just,
Yeah.
when you drop into a mesmeric state, sitting by a fire, making nettle cordage,
Mhm.
yeah, that it may come then.
Mhm.
Yeah, it may come then.
And you say nettle, so learning the plants and
Yeah.
the green ones in your ecosystem, which
Mm,
trees are there, which plants are there, eating the
mm,
wild plants that are non-poisonous,
mm,
learning
mm.
the animals, learning tracks, learning
Yeah.
how to cut tracks, and discover who's walking through or flying through,
Mhm,
learn the
mhm.
shapes of the birds, the calls of the birds that live in
Yeah.
your ecosystem. Part of it's, this kind of rational mind of their Latin names or whatever, but it's
Mm,
really about becoming um, friends with the members of your neighborhood, the other
yeah.
members of your neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, when I like learning this bird song,
Mm,
the purpose is not so that I can kind of do a tick list of, oh, I heard a blah de blah de blah, and that's
right.
really rare. It's so that I know that's a thrush, that's the same thrush, because it has that particular song. Because
Mhm.
not, somebody, when I was running a program in Cymru
Mm.
in March, they're from Dartmoor, and they were saying the skylarks sing in Welsh here. It's slightly different,
Yeah,
because she really listens to birds and she could tell the difference.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's so that I can build a thread of connection that then becomes like a twine of connection that eventually
Mm,
becomes a rope of connection.
mhm,
That's what I'm doing it
mm,
for, is like, it's so that I know who I'm living with and they
mhm,
know me.
mm,
It's like I know, as I walk along my track, I know this is where the whitethroat sings. This is where sedge warbler sings. This is
mhm,
where the gold. I know where they're nesting. I haven't seen them, but I know them from their songs.
mm.
I know where they are, and they know me. So
So you
yeah,
might introduce yourself. You might, once you know
yeah,
who the people are, the tree people
hmm,
and the fox people and the thrush people, you might introduce yourself and say, "Hi, I'm the one living in the yellow or stone or whatever house over there,
mm,
um, and I'm really happy to meet you, and I'd love to be
mm,
your neighbor. How can I be a good
yeah,
neighbor to you?" You
yeah,
know,
and then listen.
and then listen.
And don't let your mind fill it with an answer.
Mm,
Like, with listen,
mm,
and it may be that there's a little stroke of wind across your cheek which feels and brings an emotion of like
mm,
soothing, and
mm,
that may be your answer.
mm, mm, mm,
That may be a kind of like, you
mm,
feel welcomed
mm,
by
mm,
that. Because there's a thing where people go, I talked to the tree and the tree said, and it's like I kind of know almost instantly that, bless that part of a strategic mind wanted to get it right, so
mm,
came up with an answer. But that's when, often when the other than humans respond and we're really in the communication, in the conversation with them, it isn't with words, it
mm,
is with, a butterfly flying by, or suddenly there's thunder,
mm,
which
mm,
reminded me to bring in the other than human just at the
mm,
point where I needed to remember
mm,
that. It's like suddenly there's a
mm,
response.
mm, mm.
um it's just a little thing to notice, because our humanness, our modern humanness, is very strong. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. And then there are actual, if you want to take this up a notch and do this with other people, which I really would support,
Mm,
because humans are pack animals, and
mhm,
there's something about doing things together
mm,
that really can deepen the experience.
mm,
Um, is to join with others. We both have trained and work with Animus Valley Institute,
mhm,
and they run programs. We run programs that support eco awakening
mhm,
all the time. You
mhm,
know, whether it's specifically focused on that or not,
mhm.
it's in there. And also questing, vision quests cannot but help bring it about, or help
Ancestral skills,
maintain it. And yeah, yeah,
interconnection. There's good resources on the Starter Culture website as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I want to say just a few more kind of nuts and bolts ideas, and
mm,
then I think we should get to our
yeah,
amazing poem. But
yeah.
so poems, reading poems out loud to the wild
Mm,
others, writing poems yourself and reading them out loud to the wild others, singing while you're out. Maybe you have a rattle even or a drum with you, singing with the birds, singing
mm,
the songs. I do this all the time that I'm hearing in the ecosystem, the
mhm,
way the song is being sung. I weave my voice in with the wild ones as well.
mhm,
You might make offerings. You might bring
mm,
offerings to particular places that you form relationships with, particular trees or particular
mm,
birds or particular creatures. You might create an altar in your
mm,
backyard if you have one, in which you bring offerings to the four directions. You might feed
mhm,
the water if there's water flowing in your neighborhood. You might bring offerings and gifts to the flowing water. You might
mhm,
light a candle or a fire and offer things to feed the fire, not because you want something or you want to let go of something, or those are also beautiful rituals, but
mm,
to feed and honor the elements, which are
yeah,
all of our oldest ancestors and which we're made of and all of life is made of,
yeah,
right? Feed
yeah.
earth, feed water, feed air, feed fire.
Mm. Something we've done for years and years and years, which is from, it's a pan cultural thing, is feeding the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So we, after our evening meal, we have a little bowl, and before we eat, we put the best little tiny bits of the best bits, and then we take it outside and we put it out, and and sometimes sit and sing what
Mm-hmm.
is just there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I might remember, if I know somebody's particularly struggling or whatever, or, I've seen, a beloved tree that's fallen or has
Mm-hmm.
got ash dieback. There's a lot of that. I
Mm-hmm.
might say prayers for them, or, these practices, remembering it's kind of like we've become separate and we kind of go out to nature as
Mm-hmm.
if there isn't anywhere else to be. And we do these practices and then we come back, and like you're pointing out right at the beginning, we're on tech and we see that as separate,
Mm-hmm.
whereas it's all sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And our remembering is
Right.
something that is, I call it, well, I've heard a word which is resecration, which is to restore to sacredness those that have been desecrated.
Mm-hmm.
So to remember that everything that we're interacting with, um, and everything we do and the way we are is sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And so resecrating the way we make food
Mm-hmm.
and offer food, the way we are with our gardens, the
Mm-hmm.
way we are with our cars,
Mm-hmm.
just becoming aware that there's a
Right.
whole possibility of
Mm,
ceremony
mm,
in everything
right,
we do,
right,
which is, our ancestors did it as a
right.
natural thing.
Mhm.
There
And it's
was no
in
separation.
relationship.
Yeah.
It's my way of saying it is a ritual reciprocal relationship.
Yeah,
That we're in a ritual of reciprocal relationship with life.
right. Hmm.
Remembering that is the responsibility, really, of
Mm.
being human is to be participatory in a ritual reciprocal relationship with
Yeah.
life, with Earth. So, mm, thank you,
Yeah.
my dear.
Thank you, my dear.
And
I
as if
would.
it couldn't get any better, now we have an incredible poem.
Ah, yeah. And here's my yeah, poems. I think I said this in the last podcast, but I'll say it again. Poems are not to be understood through the strategic mind.
Mm.
Let all the windows of knowing be open
Mhm.
to this word spell written by Joy Harjo.
Mm.
You might want to take a moment
Mm.
and just bring yourself in. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze. And just let the words, it's like letting water run over you
Mm.
or sand run through your fingers, and let yourself rise and fall like a tide with it. Okay, so it's called A Map to the Next World. In the last days of the fourth world, I wished to make a map for those who would climb through the hole in the sky. My only tools were the desires of humans as they emerged from the killing fields, from the bedrooms and the kitchens. For the soul is a wanderer with many hands and feet. The map must be of sand and can't be read by ordinary light. It must carry fire to the next tribal town for renewal of spirit. In the legend are instructions on the language of the land. How it was we forgot to acknowledge the gift, as if we were not in it or of it. Take note of the proliferation of supermarkets and malls, the altars of money. They best describe the detour from grace. Keep track of the errors of our forgetfulness. The fog steals our children while we sleep. Flowers of rage spring up in the depression. Monsters are born there of nuclear anger. Trees of ashes wave goodbye to goodbye, and the map appears to disappear. We no longer know the names of the birds here, how to speak to them by their personal names. Once we knew everything in this lush promise. What I am telling you is real and is printed in a warning on the map. Our forgetfulness stalks us, walks the earth behind us, leaving a trail of paper diapers, needles, and wasted blood. An imperfect map will have to do, little one. The place of entry is the sea of your mother's blood, your father's small death as he longs to know himself in another. There is no exit. The map can be interpreted through the wall of the intestine, a spiral on the road of knowledge. You will travel through the membrane of death, smell cooking from the encampment where our relatives make a feast of fresh deer meat and corn soup in the Milky Way. They have never left us. We abandoned them for science. And when you take your next breath as we enter the fifth world, there will be no X, no guidebook with words you can carry. You will have to navigate by your mother's voice, renew the song she is singing. Fresh courage glimmers from planets and lights the map printed with the blood of history, a map you will have to know by your intention, by the language of suns. When you emerge, note the tracks of the monster slayers where they entered the cities of artificial light and killed what was killing us. You will see red cliffs. They are the heart, contain the ladder. A white deer will greet you when the last human climbs from destruction. Remember the hole of shame marking the act of abandoning our tribal grounds. We were never perfect, yet the journey we make together is perfect on this earth who was once a star and made the same mistakes as humans. We might make them again, she said. Crucial to finding the way is this: there is no beginning or end. You must make your own map. That's a map to the next world from How We Became Human by Joy Harger.
Mm.
Oof.
Mm.
Oof.
Mm.
Oof, oof, oof.
Mm. Yeah. How to Eco Awaken.
How to Eco Awaken.
Read that poem every day out loud, at
If
dawn,
you,
at
yeah,
dusk,
if you're
outside.
sleepless in the night, learn it by heart so that you can speak it to the other than humans as you wander.
Oh my
Yes.
God. It's kind of all you need.
Yeah. If you really know that poem. Yeah. Wow.
Read it to the foxes
Oh.
and the blackbirds and dying ash trees,
Yeah.
drying dead fields for want
The
of rain.
trees of ash saying goodbye and
Mhm.
goodbye. Oh,
Mm,
wow.
mm,
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you down the road a bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us for this time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Give our regards to the other than humans where you live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Say hello to the first other than human you meet as you step out your front door, be that in a city or be that somewhere rural or wild. Yeah.
And don't stop. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you for going on the journey with us, if you did. Thank you for giving your wholehearted attention to this time of our conversation and of your exploration, that we all together might weave ourselves back into the remembered fabric, the web of life. From this place, it's possible to turn towards these times of unknowing and collapse and listen in for what we might uniquely bring. That's kind of what we're up to at Starter Culture. And so, if you want to know more about what we're doing, please check out our website, www.starterculture.net. Sign up for our newsletter there. Join us for storytelling events about every 6 weeks to 2 months. Read the blog by Belle Selke Lovelock about her own deepening and experience on the land she's been living with and within for 25 years. And participate in the future in upcoming programs and webinars and offerings. We really look forward to meeting you, whether online or in person, hopefully in person. And more so, we want to invite you out into the wildish world to experience your belonging with Earth, first and foremost, as a human creature, so that we might all expand our consciousness into Earth streaming and listen what is up in these times at the edge of collapse. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.